Some men spend years wondering why certain women leave a lasting impression while others fade from memory. The truth is, women never forget the men who leave a deep emotional imprint, men who operate on a level beyond surface attraction. These are not gestures meant to impress or manipulate. They are actions rooted in authenticity, confidence, and emotional intelligence. Understanding what these actions are can give any man an advantage in relationships and dating, because it shows how to create lasting value in a woman's mind. Women are wired to remember emotional experiences more vividly than simple words or superficial charm. The men who leave an impression are those who trigger feelings of safety, respect, curiosity, excitement, and admiration simultaneously. They create memories that stick, feelings that linger, and emotions that feel irreplaceable. These 5 specific actions, when performed consistently and genuinely, plant seeds in her subconscious that make her remember you long after the interaction ends. This isn't about grandiose gestures or trying to buy attention. It's about mastering behaviors and energy that resonate deeply. When a man understands these 5 things, he becomes unforgettable. Not because he's perfect, but because he's rare. Women instinctively sense a man who embodies these traits, and that perception fuels attraction, respect, and emotional attachment. In this video, we'll break down the 5 things that make a man unforgettable, why they work on a psychological level, and how to use them effectively in the modern dating world. 1. Makes her feel safe. The first thing women never forget is a man who makes them feel safe. Safety isn't just about physical protection, it's about emotional, mental, and social security. Women instinctively track men who can provide stability and a calm presence. When a man consistently demonstrates that he can handle stress, conflict, and emotions without losing control, she internalizes that energy. That sense of safety allows her to open up, trust, and engage on a deeper level, and that experience is unforgettable. Most men underestimate this because they think being impressive is about showing wealth, power, or dominance. True impact comes from emotional steadiness and the ability to create an environment where she feels secure. Emotional safety is about consistency. It's about responding calmly when tensions rise, listening without judgment, and validating her experiences without overreacting. A man who can stay grounded during disagreements, who doesn't need to be right all the time, and who can manage his own emotions without controlling hers, demonstrates an irreplaceable quality. Women remember these men because the energy they provide is rare and reliable. Emotional safety creates trust, and trust builds attachment. That combination triggers long-term memory of the man who can hold space for her without demanding or controlling it. Physical and social safety also leave an imprint. A man who confidently navigates social situations, handles himself with composure, and protects his boundaries shows competence. Women notice the energy he carries. It's different from men who panic under pressure or rely on approval. That presence communicates strength without intimidation and stability without rigidity. The combination of confidence, composure, and protection is deeply memorable because it activates instincts that signal the man is someone worth valuing and remembering. Small, consistent actions matter as much as grand gestures. When you respect her boundaries, defend her in subtle ways, and show reliability without being controlling, she notices. That quiet consistency is what makes a man unforgettable. It's the type of behavior that lingers in her mind long after other men have faded into the background. When she reflects on her experiences, the moments where she felt genuinely safe stand out more than flashy moments or dramatic displays of attention. The memory of a man who makes her feel safe isn't only about the feeling itself, it's about the contrast. Most men fail to create this energy because they prioritize short-term attraction over long-term impact. A man who understands the balance between confidence, protection, and emotional stability creates a presence that women can't forget. That energy is subtle, yet powerful, and it's the foundation of every deep emotional connection she will remember. When combined with the other four actions, safety becomes a cornerstone of unforgettable attraction. Women may not immediately articulate why they remember a man, but the imprint of safety sticks. She recalls the calm, steady energy that made her feel secure, the consistency that allowed her to relax around him, and the trust she could place in his presence. That memory becomes a reference point for her subconscious. It sets the standard for how other men measure up. The man who can create that emotional anchor becomes permanently etched in her mind. 2. Challenges her mind. Women never forget a man who challenges their mind. Intellectual stimulation creates a deep, lasting impression because it engages her curiosity and respect simultaneously. When a man asks thought-provoking questions, shares unique perspectives, or encourages her to see things differently, he sparks mental engagement that goes beyond physical attraction. Most men focus on surface-level charm or humor, but the unforgettable man adds depth. He makes her think, reflect, and sometimes question her own assumptions in a way that is exciting rather than confrontational. That energy is rare and leaves a lasting psychological imprint. Challenging her mind isn't about proving she's wrong, it's about creating dialogue that expands her thinking. When a man introduces new ideas, perspectives, or insights, she experiences a blend of admiration and intrigue. That combination stimulates dopamine and creates a sense of intellectual connection, which women remember because it makes them feel alive and engaged. She begins associating that feeling with the man who sparked it, which creates emotional attachment on a subconscious level. This type of connection is powerful because it goes beyond attraction. It builds a foundation for respect and long-term interest. A man who challenges her mind also demonstrates confidence and independence. He isn't afraid to express opinions, maintain his values, and communicate clearly even when his perspective differs from hers. That stance communicates strength without aggression and encourages her to respect and appreciate his individuality. Women instinctively notice when a man is mentally confident because it signals competence, leadership, and the ability to think independently. All traits that are highly attractive and unforgettable. Subtlety is key. The goal isn't to dominate every conversation or debate relentlessly. It's to introduce ideas and perspectives that make her reflect, question, or laugh with discovery. Even casual discussions about life, work, culture, or future goals can become memorable if presented in a way that engages her intellect. That mental stimulation triggers positive emotions, which strengthen memory retention. Women don't just remember what you say. They remember how interacting with you made them feel mentally and emotionally. Consistency reinforces the impact. A single moment of insight may be enjoyable, but repeated experiences where you stimulate her mind build an association of excitement and respect. She begins to recall the man who challenged her perspective while maintaining composure and confidence. This combination of intellectual stimulation, emotional safety, and grounded energy makes a man unforgettable because he engages multiple layers of attraction simultaneously. Challenging her mind also differentiates you from the average man. Most men focus only on appearance, humor, or charm. A man who consistently encourages her to think, explore, and reflect stands out. That energy becomes a benchmark against which she measures others. Even if she meets new men, the memory of the one who challenged her intellectually sticks. He created a standard of engagement and depth that she subconsciously values and cannot easily forget. Ultimately, women remember men who make them think because mental stimulation is rare and meaningful. It produces emotions intertwined with curiosity, admiration, and respect. When combined with emotional safety and authenticity, the effect is amplified, creating a lasting impression that shapes her perception of value and attraction. The man who consistently engages her intellect becomes unforgettable because he operates on a level that most men never reach. 3. Makes her feel unique. Women never forget the man who makes them feel unique. Every woman wants to feel seen, valued, and appreciated for who she truly is, not just for her appearance or the surface-level traits she projects. When a man notices subtle qualities, her sense of humor, her perspective on life, her ambitions, or even the way she carries herself, he creates an emotional connection that resonates deeply. That kind of attention isn't about flattery. It's about recognition. When she experiences genuine acknowledgement of her individuality, it activates emotions that women remember because they feel rare and special. Making her feel unique goes beyond compliments. It's about paying attention to the little details others overlook and responding in ways that demonstrate understanding. Remembering things she mentions in conversation, showing interest in her passions, and acknowledging her perspective in meaningful ways signals that you see her differently from the crowd. Women instinctively notice men who take the time to understand them on a deeper level, and that recognition creates a lasting impression. It communicates value, emotional intelligence, and attentiveness, qualities that make you unforgettable. This behavior also builds emotional intimacy. When she feels unique in your presence, she lowers her guard and begins to associate vulnerability with safety and trust. Those moments of emotional openness are etched into memory because they create meaningful experiences. Most men fail to reach this level because they focus on physical attraction or casual conversation. The unforgettable man understands that emotional resonance is more powerful than surface-level charm. He creates a connection that lingers long after the interaction ends. The way you make her feel unique should be authentic and consistent. Women can sense when attention is forced or insincere. True impact comes from genuine appreciation of her character, thoughts, and actions. Asking thoughtful questions, remembering small details, and responding in ways that reflect understanding show that you value her individuality. This creates a psychological imprint because she associates you with feelings of being recognized and respected in a way that others haven't provided. Subtle contrasts amplify memorability. Most men treat women in a generic way: superficial compliments, standard attention, or predictable behavior. When you highlight qualities that are exclusive to her and respond with genuine interest, you stand out. That energy creates emotional triggers that remain active in her mind. She begins to recall how she felt with you versus other men, and that distinction solidifies your place in her memory. Making her feel unique also builds long-term attraction. Emotional resonance paired with respect, confidence, and consistency creates a sense of rarity. She experiences feelings that aren't easily replicated, which makes her return to those memories, comparing others to the man who saw her in ways no one else did. That combination of recognition, emotional impact, and authenticity cements you as unforgettable. Ultimately, women remember men who make them feel unique because it fulfills a deep psychological need to be valued for their individuality. When combined with mental stimulation, emotional safety, and authenticity, this quality creates a multi-layered connection that lingers. The man who consistently makes her feel seen and appreciated leaves an imprint that is impossible to ignore. 4. Stands out through actions. Women never forget the man who stands out through his actions. Words are easy. Anyone can say something flattering or charming, but actions, consistent, thoughtful, and meaningful actions, leave a lasting imprint because they demonstrate value in ways that words cannot. When a man follows through, honors his commitments, and shows reliability, he communicates integrity, strength, and authenticity. That combination is deeply memorable. Women notice men who act in ways that align with their character, who make an effort without expecting anything in return, and who create experiences that stick emotionally. Standing out through actions isn't about grandiose gestures or over-the-top displays. It's about consistency and authenticity. Small things, showing up when it matters, being present during important moments, remembering significant details, or supporting her in subtle ways, create a lasting impact. Women intuitively register these behaviors because they signal attention, thoughtfulness, and competence. While most men focus on verbal charm or superficial impression management, the unforgettable man demonstrates reliability and intentionality in every interaction. That consistency builds trust and admiration, two cornerstones of lasting attraction. Action-based memorability also engages emotions. When she experiences a man taking tangible steps to demonstrate care, interest, or commitment, even in small ways, it triggers positive emotional associations. She remembers the moments when he made her life easier, safer, or more enjoyable. That emotional imprint strengthens over time because it's tied to experience rather than promise. Actions create memories and feelings that linger far longer than words alone. A man who consistently delivers through action signals that he is a man of integrity, someone who can be counted on, which is rare and unforgettable. Subtlety enhances memorability. You don't need constant grand gestures to stand out. Thoughtful actions that show attentiveness, like remembering something she casually mentioned, supporting her goals, or showing respect in social settings, create moments of emotional resonance. She notices when your actions reflect consideration, effort, and consistency, and that recognition forms a mental anchor. Over time, the collection of these actions builds a narrative in her mind. This is a man who acts differently, who embodies qualities she values deeply, and whose presence is rare. Standing out through actions also differentiates you from men who rely on charm, jokes, or surface-level attraction. Women quickly forget men who are all talk, but no substance. When you back your words with intentional behavior, you leave a psychological imprint that is impossible to ignore. She begins to associate you with competence, reliability, and authenticity, the type of energy that creates long-term respect and attraction. Ultimately, women remember men who stand out through actions because they demonstrate value in a tangible, emotionally resonant way. That combination of consistency, authenticity, and emotional impact makes you unforgettable. Every thoughtful act, intentional gesture, and demonstration of reliability reinforces the perception that you are rare, grounded, and exceptional. Women carry the memory of these experiences long after other interactions fade, cementing your place as a man who cannot easily be forgotten. 5. Makes her laugh and feel alive. Women never forget the man who makes them laugh and feel alive. Humor is a powerful tool because it triggers emotional responses that are deeply memorable. When a man can make a woman laugh genuinely, it creates joy, relaxation, and a sense of connection that she associates with him. Laughter is more than entertainment. It's a release of tension and a bonding mechanism. A man who can make her smile in ways others can't leaves a lasting impression because he evokes emotions that she craves and remembers. Making her feel alive isn't just about jokes or playful teasing. It's about creating energy and excitement. A man who introduces spontaneity adventure, and novelty into interactions keeps the experience stimulating. She recalls moments where she felt exhilarated, engaged, or fully present with him. Most men fail here because they focus on being serious, predictable, or trying too hard to impress. The unforgettable man understands that emotional impact matters more than perfection. He creates memories where she feels joy, freedom, and connection, which stick far longer than superficial gestures. Humor also signals confidence and intelligence. Women notice men who can navigate social situations with wit, who understand timing, and who use humor without diminishing others. That type of energy demonstrates emotional intelligence, social awareness, and self-assuredness. When combined with authenticity, it produces a magnetic presence. She remembers the man who could make her laugh because he made her feel at ease, safe, and entertained simultaneously. A rare combination that resonates deeply. Laughter creates emotional resonance that strengthens memory retention. Neuroscience shows that emotions trigger stronger memories than neutral experiences. When you consistently make her feel alive and joyful, her brain encodes those experiences more vividly. She begins to associate you with positive emotions, excitement, and a sense of engagement that other men may lack. Even after meeting other men, the memories of how you made her feel remain active because they were tied to deep emotional responses, not surface-level interactions. Consistency is crucial. Random moments of humor or excitement are memorable, but repeated experiences build a stronger psychological imprint. When she experiences the combination of laughter, thrill, and genuine connection over time, it creates an emotional anchor. She recalls not just the jokes, but the energy, the atmosphere, and the sense of freedom she felt with you. That anchor makes you unforgettable because she associates you with experiences that are rare, uplifting, and deeply satisfying. Ultimately, women remember the man who makes them laugh and feel alive because he activates emotions that few others can. Joy, excitement, and mental engagement are powerful triggers for lasting attraction. When combined with emotional safety, intellectual stimulation, and authenticity, humor elevates your presence to a level that lingers in her mind. She may forget details, words, or small interactions, but she will never forget the way you made her feel. Energized, alive, and uniquely engaged. That is the hallmark of a man who leaves a permanent impression. 6. Shows unwavering confidence. Women never forget the man who shows unwavering confidence. Confidence is magnetic because it signals self-assurance, emotional stability, and value. When a man walks into a room, holds his ground, and interacts without seeking approval, he creates an energy that draws attention naturally. Confidence is not about arrogance or boasting, it's about being secure in who you are and what you bring to the table. Women remember men who exhibit this energy because it makes them feel safe, respected, and intrigued all at once. Confidence sets a man apart from the majority who rely on validation, and that distinction creates a lasting impression. Unwavering confidence is demonstrated through actions, decisions, and consistency. A man who can communicate clearly, set boundaries, and follow through on commitments shows that he knows his value. Women notice when a man handles challenges with composure rather than panic, when he can navigate social or emotional complexities with ease, and when he remains calm under pressure. That kind of energy signals competence and reliability, which creates attraction and emotional imprint. It's not just what you say, it's how you move, how you respond, and how you maintain your presence without doubt or hesitation. Confidence also interacts with other traits to amplify memorability. When combined with humor, emotional intelligence, and authenticity, it produces a presence that is rare and unforgettable. Women instinctively sense when a man's confidence is genuine versus performative. Authentic confidence builds trust because it communicates stability. She knows she can rely on him emotionally and socially. That combination of competence and self-assuredness leaves an impression that lingers far longer than any superficial gestures. The impact of unwavering confidence goes beyond attraction. It sets the tone for interactions. Women are drawn to men who inspire respect, curiosity, and admiration. By maintaining a calm, composed, and self-assured demeanor, you create an energy that stimulates intrigue. She notices how you handle rejection, criticism, or challenge. Your confidence tells her more about your value than words ever could. That consistency reinforces the memory of your presence and the feelings associated with it. Confidence also differentiates you from men who rely on charm or desperation. Women quickly forget men who over-explain, chase validation, or try to manipulate attention. In contrast, a man who demonstrates unwavering confidence becomes a reference point. She remembers how he made her feel, secure, respected, and excited, because that energy cannot be replicated easily. Confidence acts as a psychological anchor, linking attraction, respect, and curiosity to your presence. Ultimately, women remember men who show unwavering confidence because it signals emotional maturity, independence, and rarity. Combined with other traits, emotional safety, mental stimulation, authenticity, and humor, confidence cements your place in her memory. She may encounter many men, but the energy of a man who stands firmly in his self-assurance is unforgettable. The way he carries himself, handles situations, and interacts consistently with composure leaves a lasting imprint that shapes her perception of value, attraction, and connection. 7. Leaves a lasting emotional impact. Women never forget the man who leaves a lasting emotional impact. Beyond looks, charm, or even humor, it is the emotional resonance he creates that embeds him into her memory. Emotional impact comes from moments where she feels deeply seen, understood, or valued. Experiences that trigger strong feelings like excitement, admiration, security, or joy. Most men underestimate this because they focus on short-term attraction rather than the lasting imprint of meaningful experiences. The unforgettable man leaves traces of himself in her mind by engaging her emotions on multiple levels consistently and authentically. Creating emotional impact isn't about drama or grand gestures. It's about authenticity and attentiveness. When you respond to her feelings genuinely, celebrate her successes, support her ambitions, or provide stability during stress, you create an emotional landscape she will remember. Women subconsciously track the energy a man brings and how it makes them feel. Positive emotional experiences are stored in memory with high retention, meaning that when she recalls interactions with you, she remembers the feelings before the words. That is why emotional impact is far more powerful than any superficial act. The unforgettable man also leaves her thinking. He creates moments where she feels introspective, curious, and challenged in a constructive way. By stimulating her mind, making her feel unique, or providing emotional reassurance, he engages her on multiple levels simultaneously. These layered interactions produce a resonance that women rarely forget because they are not passive experiences. They are emotionally and mentally immersive. She recalls not just what happened, but how she felt during those interactions, and those feelings guide her memories and attraction over time. Consistency amplifies emotional impact. A single moment of attention or a one-off experience may be enjoyable, but repeated moments of emotional resonance build an enduring connection. When you consistently make her feel respected, seen, safe, challenged, and alive, you create a psychological imprint that persists long after interactions end. Women remember the man who could evoke these emotions because that combination is rare, intentional, and deeply engaging. Emotional impact also differentiates you from the average man. While most men focus on surface-level attraction, appearance, charm, or flattery, the unforgettable man integrates emotional intelligence, attentiveness, and authenticity. He creates moments that stick, energy that resonates, and experiences she cannot replicate with anyone else. That uniqueness is why she recalls him vividly, and why he remains in her thoughts long after other men have faded. Finally, leaving a lasting emotional impact ensures that your presence is remembered even when you're not around. Women carry the feelings you evoke as a reference point, a standard for what meaningful interaction feels like. When combined with safety, confidence, humor, intellectual stimulation, uniqueness, and action, emotional impact solidifies your imprint in her memory. She may forget details or words, but she never forgets the man who made her feel alive, respected, and understood. That is the ultimate marker of an unforgettable man. Women never forget the men who create lasting emotional resonance through authentic, consistent, and meaningful behavior. It isn't about grand gestures, money, or superficial charm. It's about the energy you bring and the experiences you create. The men who leave a permanent impression make her feel safe, stimulate her mind, make her feel unique, stand out through actions, make her laugh and feel alive, show unwavering confidence, and leave a lasting emotional impact. These 7 qualities combine to create a deep, multi-layered impression that women remember long after the interaction ends. The unforgettable man operates with consistency and authenticity. He doesn't chase validation or overcompensate to impress. Instead, he maintains composure, demonstrates value through actions, and engages women on intellectual and emotional levels. That presence leaves a subconscious imprint in her mind. She recalls how she felt around him, respected, seen, safe, challenged, excited, and alive. Those feelings, once established, are difficult to erase because they are tied to deep psychological and emotional responses. Mastering these behaviors isn't about manipulation. It's about cultivating the qualities that naturally attract and resonate with women. When you create experiences that stimulate her mind, engage her emotions, and highlight your authenticity and confidence, you become unforgettable. Women may meet many men, but they will always remember the ones who made them feel alive, safe, and truly valued. By embodying these traits consistently, you position yourself as a rare, high-value man whose presence lingers in her mind and heart, creating attraction that is lasting and profound.